Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie Castle and welcome back to the shop. You brought some rain with you today. Yeah, it looks like the first real cold front blew into New Orleans. This being, what, the 19th or so of October. And brought a little bit of rain, brought a little bit of coolness, brought a good change in the weather, brought the garbage that gets into my face. But we shall persevere. Now, when we left yesterday, let me show you, I was wetting down this piece. This is a bowl we turned. And when we finished up, I'd wet it down after sanding it to about 400 grit. No, I'm sorry, sanded it to 220 grit. Well, sanded it and wet it. Well, you can't see it, but I can feel it. On the end grains, I've had a little bit of rise, both on the inside and out, which is what I was looking for, because now I can put a finished sand on it and knock everything down to the same grit or the same texture. And before I color it, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to get everything to about the same grit. I'm going to back up to 220 Siasoft fabric. I really like this product. This is the Siasoft. It comes from Vince Welsh, Vince's Wood Wonders. And I'm going to sand this piece and then start coloring it. I've got to get my gloves and everything else. But you know what you have to do. I mean, we're about to get started. All you need to do, watch. Lay speed is about 400 RPMs. 500 if you have a mini or something that won't go down below 5. 5's fine. And I'm just starting out with the 220 fabric. I don't have to remove any scratches. I was looking at it really close. I don't have any scratches in it. What I've done is puffed up the grain, and I have some irregularities that are just going to stand out if I don't get them down. So with that, I take the Siasoft because it molds to the piece so nicely. I know I won't get lines and I won't get burns because it's cutting very cleanly, as you can see. Now, watch the sawdust. It's going down. Why? I got a little fan up there. Right up there. And that little fan blows the sawdust down away from the piece. Because I don't have a dust capture system. I have a dust avoidance system. If I was going to sand a good bit on this, I'd go ahead and pull on over here and get my Dust Be Gone mask. I love the Dust Be Gone. Yesterday I took it in and I put it in a jacket pocket and got it washed. .220 is done. Now, feels really good. I don't feel any rising or stuff, but I'm going to take this all the way through 400 with the Siasoft fabric, and that'll get everything even. Then I can color it. Paper towel. In case you're new to my program, The only rags I bring near this lathe are the ones that I'm wearing, and I'm careful about those. Paper towel, if it hangs up, it tears. If a old sock or a handkerchief or a rag hangs up and it happens to be wrapped near a finger, it tears. But the finger normally tears right along with it. Yeah. Sanding is a key part to this entire process, really. Because right now, I take a good, hard look at this piece. And if there's a scratch or a line or pulling a grain from using either a dull tool, bad technique, too hard of a cut, or whatever, I need to fix it right now. Because once I throw the stain on it or the coloring on it or start to finish, it's too late. Then I have to back up about 5 steps in order to get to the one that'll really make the difference. So right now, I want this thing to be as perfect as can be and say, this is a finished piece. Then I continue on to the next step. And I have to say that because some of the guys say, I'm going to throw the stain on and see what it looks like. Guess what? Human nature is, oh, I can live with that. Don't live with it. Fix it now. The way it looks, I'm about ready to suit up. As I'm getting ready to start the dyeing or staining, a couple of things. My favorite product is right here. This is Artisan. It's a mineral-based dye, and it's from Craft Supplies. I protect my hands with nitrile gloves, and I get these at Harbor Freight. And they come in full grade, which is extra large. They hold up a lot better than those regular latex gloves you get at the discount house. Okay. And they are this pretty color blue, which to me really matters. I also at Harbor Freight, I get these chip brushes. Now they only had the 2-inch. I normally stick with the 1-inch or get a little mix of them. But a whole bag is only $6 or $7. And to mix my dyes or stains, I use ball mason jars. It's just, ball. The little, either the little pint ones here or the little fat flat ones. No comments, please. And I keep everything in a little storage tub off on the side, all the parts together, because no matter what's left, it's a color. And sometimes you just need a color. Okay, I'm going to get my green and my yellow, and I think I like a little bit of a teal. A teal. And I'm going to mix it up, then we'll get started. You can't do just teal, it's teal. A little more word of caution. I just treated the bed with a little overspray of WD-40. I'm not a great fan of that product on a lot of things, but it is slicker than slick. And it will keep some of the stuff from sticking. It makes cleanup a little bit easier. Now, I put the Artisan dye in here, and I cut it probably 3 to 1. 3 parts denatured alcohol and 1 part color, because that's all I need. I'm looking for a tint of yellow, and I can build it up with the denatured alcohol as a solvent or a base. And it works in really nicely. I'm going to cover the whole piece with this and make sure I'm very uniform. The lightest color first and get very uniform. My next color would be to fade a little bit of the teal out of here. Now I took the yellow that I had and I used a drinking straw to pick up a few drops of green and blue and mix it in. Only a drop or so at a time. It's hard to lighten it up, but you can get the color in there. The blue's working better than the green for that color. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder to apply without having it run everywhere. So you lighten up on the brush strokes a little bit and how much you load on the brush. Don't worry, we're going to fix those edges in a minute. That's why you go from the lighter to the darker. And we're also going to come around the outside. Well, the bottom is going to be a little bit darker. So again, light, even strokes. Even though you're going to cover this, you don't need it bleeding down everywhere and causing shadows. Because if this runs down, when you come back with the next coat, you're going to have a color shift in there. And you really don't want that. Or I don't want that. I don't know what you want. According to your spouse, you don't know what you want either. Yeah, I just put a little product on a paper towel. It allows me to go in and soften that edge a little bit. I don't want it to look painted. Now, third color is going to be the deeper blue. And I added a little more alcohol to it to make it move a little bit. And I need to get this all the way down on that base, because I can always color in that little foot. But this is going to go all the way down on the base. And again, I want to bring it up darker and then lighten it as I get closer to the green. Which means I'll just cut it with a little more alcohol once I get this bottom done. Now we're going to sand this in, which is going to lighten it all up a little bit. Okay? With it all brushed in, I want to go ahead and flash dry some of this, which is where this little gizmo comes in. And I put a little, this is burning off the alcohol. And that's going to flash dry any deep spots. Now, you don't want to let this sit still and just burn, because it will burn the soft spots on the material and darken them up. Doesn't take much to dry it out, but it needs to be dry to go to the next step. Okay, you can call me crazy. The next step is we're going to sand out some of this. I'm going to go back to 220 grit paper and sand it out. Not the light color, the two darker colors. And you'll see that's what happens when it doesn't set up all the way. There's still a lot of color transferring right now. That's why we're not going to the lighter color. Which only means I'm going to let it cure out a little bit more, then come back and sand a little bit. And what that's going to do is let the chatoyance come through, because I've just dampened it out, and it's going to brighten up the piece a little bit. Well, finally dried up a good bit, and I was able to sand on it. You see I'm moving just a little bit of it now. I'll take it back to the 320 grit, and then I'm going to seal it. Now, you can see it got lighter in many spots. If it gets much too light, you can reapply the stain again and darken it up. But I kind of like the way it looks a little worn, and the fading from one color to the other. So now we're going to put a little sealer on it. I'm a little particular when it comes to sealing. This is a product I'd prefer to use. This is Deft lacquer-based sanding sealer. This lays in real nice. You can do multiple layers. It stays absolutely clear. And it's got some solids in it, as you can see. That's what happens when it settles out and it clouds up a little bit. That's the solids that are sealing it, that fill for the sealer. Again, I only do a paper pad. This is cut. This is 50% sanding sealer, 50% lacquer thinner. It's going to have a little transference. But you must keep in mind, because you don't want to do too much work on the edge and then carry it back over the lighter color. And we're going to put 2 coats on. This is your tattletale. That's what your finished piece is going to look like. It's going to be glossier if you want it glossier, which we'll do in another video. But if there's a tear, a scratch, a gouge that shows right now, it'll show later. Two coats of sanding sealer. Before I go to the next step, I'm going to let this cure. It just takes a little bit. Then I'm going to buff it out. And I'm going to look for any holidays to where I may have buffed it out and went back down to raw wood. You don't want to go back to raw wood. You do want some of the sanding sealer on top. So if you buff it out, it looks really good, but you see a couple of bare spots, safe rather than sorry, because it's hard to fix. Next step is put another coat on and buff it out again. Next time, try buffing it out with a Scotch-Brite type product. This is a fairly coarse one. I think it's 600, 800 grit. And by the way, if you get these from Vince at Vince's Wood Wonders, save one for WD-40 and a bed of your lathe. Works really good for cleaning up the bed of the lathe. And you can put it in your power sander and power buff it out, because it won't remove metal, so it won't dish out the bed of your lathe. So let's catch up to where we are. But we're there. At this point, we have sanded out. I have it back to, with the buffer on it, probably a 400 grit. It's very nice, very slick. I did touch up a couple of holidays in the color, and then go back over a little bit of sealer. And all in all, I think we have a nice, pleasant project. You can see where the green shifts to the blue coming around the side. Haven't done anything in a blue, a green-blue area. Management really likes the cinnamon and the darker colors. But I think this is going to look really good. Still got to have the grain showing. Still going to be some chatoyance. And the next step is to go ahead and put the CA finish on it. I haven't done it on a bowl, so that's going to be kind of unique. And I'm going to go over some yeses and nos and some tips and some questions that I'm getting from you, the wood turner, about putting a CA finish on something. Well, that's it. You've joined me as today we made some shavings, and we got a little piece colored, and we're getting ready to go ahead and make up something really slick. And all you have to do is join me once again. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan, and I'm here because of Big Eye Productions. If you're looking for carbide cutters, you need to be looking at www.eddiecastellan.com, this address right here. That's where you need to go to be looking for carbide cutters. And if you're looking for a Blackhawk sharpening rig, it's there. The layout template, combos on tools and all that. Wood turning resource. All right, that's what we are. You take care and come on back. We're going to put a nice finish on this, and you're going to like it. I like how the little knots have got the ring around them. And yeah. Just coming out really good. And oh yeah, when we warmed it up and dried it out, it warped a little. I like that. Oh, you gotta go. Yeah, bye.